Okay, hello. Welcome to a live unboxing video for Earth Abundance. Hopefully you can hear me and you can see me okay. And it's going to be a fairly quick video today because this is just an expansion. This is not one big, massive box game with 1,000 components. It is just the expansion, but it's not just an expansion because this is an expansion, or should I say the first expansion for Earth. Earth is a very, very popular game. Inside Up absolutely knocked it out of the park with this one. Beautiful artwork and very high up on people's list of popular games from the year it came out. We're just gonna jump in. Yes, the first expansion. Maybe there'll be more. Maybe there'll be more coming for this game that may be announced at some point later this year. Maybe. I have been given permission to say the things that I've just said. So, there you go. Right, we have an abundance of new flora, fauna, strategic interactions, which is actually right, because you can interact with other players in a different way to this game. And it supports solo and team play, and I believe it takes up to 6 players as well. So, yes, the game does go up to 6 players. Now, some people didn't like playing it at 5. Well, it now goes up to 6. But you can play it with solo, you can play it with all sorts of stuff. There is lots of new stuff in this game, and it fixes one of the small issues that I had with the game. I do enjoy Earth, I do enjoy it as a game, but there was one problem that I had with it, which has been fixed in this expansion. And we're going to go through that as we play. Now, I have already covered this game on the channel before, sometime last year. I think it was like April or something. And I did a playthrough video for the game. If you want to see how the game plays out, you can check out that video. It is on the channel. Things have changed. A little bit has changed since that prototype. Player boards. So what they were originally going with is they were going with a big kind of overlay that would go over your old boards, but they've changed that. That's now this. So this is actually going to go on the bottom of the player boards as instead. So that's that. We've got some new canopies. We've got some new trunks as well, and we have some new sprouts. Now Frankie is asking, where are the deluxe mats? Yes. So I think one reason why this expansion has actually been delayed quite a lot is that they were producing the super deluxe bits for this game at roughly the same time as this one. I'm not quite sure, but they haven't arrived. I'm hoping that the nice people at Inside Up Games might send me those deluxe bits, but they do look very nice. I don't have them today. They've not arrived. It's just this. And this did arrive at about 3 o'clock today, so we've only just got it in time. We have a new scoring pad. We have a new rulebook, which I think I helped out with a little bit. I can't quite remember if I did. I think I did. But we have that. We have, look at this. This is one thing that Inside Up Games are really good at. Now, I think that is stuck to the bottom of the box. Yes, it is. What they normally do is they normally put a list of all of their backers on the inside of the box cover. And what they've done this time is it's stuck to the bottom of the box, but this is a list of all of the backers. There you go. So, yeah, it's all in there. Very good of them. What's happening in the chat? For the advanced copy, we only introduced the expansion itself. Deluxe mats will be en route. Excellent. Right. So yes, we have this. We have a link to a how to play video in here. That doesn't work right now. That link doesn't work because I haven't done it yet. But next week, I'll let you know. Next week, I am due to be filming my how to play video for this game. It will be one of my shortest how to play videos that I've done. It won't quite be as long as Voidfall. And it will be an official how to play video for the expansion. The script is written and I'm due to start filming it next week. So as long as my eyebrows behave themselves next week, I'll be filming that. Right, so there's the rule book. It's all in there. We have this. So for the 6th player, we have a new player board for them. And yeah, they need a space on the bottom for the extra stuff. Right. So there's the 6th player, gorgeous artwork as usual. Funny story about this game. Let me tell you this funny story, and apologies if you've heard this one before. Essen, not last year, the year before. Essen 2023. Essen Spiel is a big convention that's held in Germany in October every year, And Essen 2023, Connor from Inside Up Games came over to the hotel where I was staying, and we were playing some games in the lobby area. And near us, there was a group of people playing Earth. It's always nice to see people playing your game that you've produced, but of course they didn't know who Connor was. He was just sort of sat there, and yeah, he went over and he was having a chat with them, and they said, "Oh, we love the artwork and we love the colours in this game, and whoever did all of these, chose these images and everything else, and the colours in is fantastic." And Connor was like, "That was me." And they were like, "What?" And it was like, "Yeah, I'm the publisher." And was like, "Oh, right, it's really cool when that happens." So anyway. We have this. So it can be now played as a team game. I don't think it could be played as a team game before, or could it? Yeah, maybe it could. Maybe it could be played as a team game before, 2v2. But anyway, it can now be played, I believe, as a 2v2v2 game. So there's that. Right, we have punch board. Now the punch board is not that exciting, to be honest, but it's got more soil. And we have the seeds. Now the seeds have changed to brown. They're in the prototype copy that I had, which is what I used in the video. These were purple, and it was a little, they looked a little bit too similar to one of the player colours. So they've changed the seeds. These are now a brown colour. And if you don't know how the expansion works, this is the new thing. Now, these, I've always said that these seeds are really hard to come by. I believe everybody starts with one of them. I think, I'm going off memory here, but I think everybody starts the game with a seed. And I remember saying that these are quite hard to come by. And then I remember playing this game with somebody, and they ended up with about 7 of these, and they just managed to get all of the cards that produce these seeds. So what do these seeds do? Well, these seeds give you access to a new action, which is shown on the player boards here. And the action that you can do is germinate. Let me refer back to the comment that I made earlier on about the one slight problem that I have with this game, which is very common with games where there's a huge deck of unique cards where you're looking for a certain card. And in this game, if you don't know the game of Earth, essentially there are 4 common objectives that everybody's trying to aim for. And if you are playing with the ecosystem cards, you've got one of your own objectives as well. Now, some of those objectives are for having a certain number of a certain thing. And there's lots of different conditions in the game. They're printed somewhere. I think they're printed somewhere. Yeah, they'll be like trunk values of soil cost of 3 or more, or cards with particular icons. Basically, certain cards that you need in order to meet those objectives. Now, it is a game where you are going to be drawing a lot of cards. So you might think, well, that's fine, because I'm going to draw huge amounts of cards. I'm bound to eventually get the ones that I need, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes you will draw 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards, and you're looking for a card with a particular thing on it, and you can't find it. And when the objectives are based on these conditions, that's where it can get a bit... Anyway, they fixed that with the germinate action. So with the germinate action, this is really clever. It's very simple. But what you do is you spend one of your seeds, you name that condition. So you say, I'm looking for a card with rocks on it. And then what you do is you look through the deck of cards until you find one with rocks on it, and then you add it to your hand. So you don't get a specific card of your choice, but you get a card which you need to help you meet the conditions of the objectives. So yeah, these are really good. And in a game where the deck is only going to get bigger once this expansion comes out, then yeah, that's how it works. Right, so let's have a look at these cards. So what have we got? We have a messy table with lots of dirt over it. It looks absolutely fine until I zoom in, and yeah, so the usual stuff. We've got usual great artwork. I mean, I say artwork, photos, but it's not just photos. It's the amount of effort that's gone into to make sure that these look really good. I'm just going to change the focus on the camera. There we go. Hopefully that's all clear. So yeah, we got new ones. Now these are not just more things. They are more cards, but all of these, if you look at them, they rely on cards with particular things on them. So these are actually different, and they're double-sided as well. I'm not going to show you every single card in the game, we do have the dung beetle, and every game that has a dung beetle gets an extra 0.3 in my rating system because I like dung beetles. So we have new of these, and again, these are going to be based on these abilities. So these are new. We have a couple more. I'm not going to show you every single card. I'm not going to show you the other side of these cards, but yeah, you get the idea. Now, this is new, and I'll show you this when we get to the other cards themselves. We have Madagascar Island. We have Ross Island. I hope Ross doesn't mind that we've got his island. I don't know where Ross Island is actually, but yeah. Now, speaking of the Germinate action, there's a player aid. So these are all of the things that you can search for when you are germinating. So you can say, I'm going to search for a card that meets that particular criteria. So they're all here. They're all there. Right. The rest of the cards, these are all going to get shuffled and they're going to be placed in there. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some of these. So this is, I'm going to get 4 soil, and then every other player is going to get 2 sprouts. So there are cards in here which will mean other players are going to get something. Now, at this point, I'm just going to switch to talking about sprouts. If you already own a copy of the base game of Earth, I would actually strongly recommend, even if you don't have the expansion, playing with the new rules for sprouts. Because in the old rules, when you got sprouts, you had to find somewhere to put those sprouts. And if you didn't have anywhere to put them, you lost them. The new rules are that whenever you gain sprouts, you put them onto your sprout storage. And then I think it's only on your turn. I'll need to check this in the rule book. But on your turn, you can move them from your sprout storage onto your sprout. I'm not 100% with this, so correct me if I'm wrong. But with these cards, when you are activating these abilities, it goes onto the sprout storage. And that is important because if you remember how the game of Earth works, somebody does an action and then everybody's doing stuff and everybody's resolving all of their abilities kind of at the same time. So essentially, if you resolve an ability that gives every player sprout, you just shout out, everybody have 2 sprouts. And what you do is everybody gets 2 sprouts and puts them on here. They can't spend them on that turn. That's the important thing. It's not like the game is going to be interrupted and you're like, oh, I'm getting 2 sprouts. Well, I didn't know I was going to do that. Well, in that case, I'm going to do this. No, any sprouts that you gain through other people's actions go onto here and you can't use them in the same turn. It's at the end of the turn. That's it. So at the end of the turn, any sprouts that you've gained can be moved onto your things. So we have cards that mean other players are going to get something. That's one type of ability. There's all sorts of things. That's everybody gets a sprout. That's everybody gets a sprout. Everybody gets a sprout. Yeah, these are all grouped together. We've got some more things. We've got Japanese cherry tree. I mean, there's so many. I don't actually know how many types of flora there are in the world and how many of them are already in this game. Because there's obviously a lot and there's plenty more to go on. Seeds. So I said they were hard to get hold of. Well, here is a card which is going to get you a seed. But look how expensive it is. 8 cost for 1 point, but it does have a huge amount of this. But that is a card that when you activate it, you're going to get a seed. So, yeah. That's everybody gets everything as well. There's lots of cards that's everybody gets everything. Now, where's the other one that I'm looking for? This one. This one's slightly different. So 2 different abilities. But when you resolve this ability, you spend 2 sprouts to gain 4 trunks. And then you choose another player and they get 1 sprout. Is that right? Choose another player to get 1 sprout? Yeah, choose an opponent and they get 1 sprout. So you can target these abilities. Now, don't worry. When I start saying you can target another player with this ability, panic ye not. It's all positive. All of the stuff that affects other players is positive. The 4th expansion set that they're working on for this game has the flamethrower rules, and that's where you go down and you burn down people's forests. I'm joking. That's the 5th expansion. So don't worry about negative player interaction. It doesn't have it in this game. All of the interaction is all positive. So there you go. Right, what else have we got? There is some other types of ability. This one. Now, this is one where the first time I played this game with this expansion, I got this wrong. And apologies to the people who I taught how to play, but this is you are going to get bonuses based on the number of symbols that your neighbours have. So when you play the game with the expansion, this is actually going to be really interesting. You need to pay a lot more attention to what the other people are doing. And I believe I also got the rules wrong. I think it's one of your neighbours. Let me just double check this in the rule book. Yes, select one of your neighbours' areas. Yeah, so when I first taught this expansion, I said it was both of your neighbours. It's not. It's one of your neighbours. So you're going to gain 1 growth for each of those symbols in either of your neighbours. You choose which one. Now, that might seem like just a simple rule, but it does change the game a lot, because now when you're choosing which cards to keep, you're like, oh, right, well, I can see that, you know, Deirdre, who sat to my right, she's been building lots of trees. So that's great. I'll use this. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think that is it for the new symbol. They did say that they were going to increase the amount of player interaction in this expansion, and that's exactly what they've done with the cards that give everybody sprouts, cards that give you abilities based on what your neighbours have got, and things like that. Other than that, what else have we got to show you? We'll show you this one. This one's quite interesting. So this is actually based on this. So it's based on abilities. So it's similar to the other one. Let's show a card that isn't as this one. Let's show you the prickly Russian thistle, which is what my friends used to call me in college, I think. Yeah, I think that's what you used. So this is, you gain 1 soil, and then you pick one of your neighbours, and it's for each of that particular terrain type that they have. So yeah. Anyway, lots of new cards. Kangaroo paw, butterfly bush. Lots of new black, but I think that's all of the different types of abilities in the game. Lots more terrain cards, more volcanoes, more events. So the one thing about this game, which a lot of people know, is the percentages that are printed on the cards. So this is a game where any card, for example, this one, the Tropical Jungle, says you're going to get 2 points at the end of the game for every card with a colon ability, right? And that little 34% there means there are 34% of the cards in the game which have a colon ability. This percentage is really useful when you're determining which cards to keep in your hand and which cards you want to play. You know 34% of the cards in the game have a colon ability. So you might be thinking, now that the designer has decided to add all of these new cards to the game, that those percentages are out of the window. They are defunct, they do not work anymore, and you would be wrong. What the designer has done, and I'm giving the credit to the designer because I believe it's Maxim that has done this, he has spent so much time and effort. He said it was like a giant Sudoku puzzle. He has made sure that all of the percentages from the original cards from the original game are still valid. That, as a design choice, is really difficult to do, because you can't just say, oh, we want to add these 4 cards with these abilities, because, oh no, that's going to affect the percentage of that. So he's literally had to move things around until the percentages got the same as they were. I think that's it. I think that is everything. We have a new achievement sheet for those people who are playing the game where you need to get certain things. This is always quite nice to have, you know, win with 60 sprouts on your tableau. If somebody does that, you write the name down on here. It's just a nice little addition to the game which allows you to do something. But we're done. Like I said, there will be a how to play video for this, which I will be working on hopefully next week. That's the plan anyway. And yeah, that will be out before the game comes out. I don't actually know exactly when the game is going to come out. This copy was rushed to me. So yeah, Inside Up Games will know more about when people are going to be getting this copy. And when I do get the super deluxe components, I'll show you what they are. But for now, we are done. Thank you very much to everybody for watching. This was not a sponsored video. All of my advertising revenue goes to charity, and I'm only able to do that thanks to the support of the Patreon campaign. So if you like the content that I make and you want to support the channel directly, you can do so at patreon.com/gaming rules. Other than that, I'll be back tomorrow with some more live playthroughs. I'll see you all then. Cheers all. Bye-bye.